Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to another interview with Dissonant Waves. My name is Dominic. Callum is on camera. I'm on camera. Trix is not on camera.
Yes,
And we seem
apologies.
to, it's a thing. And we have two more people on camera. Who do we have?
Hey everyone, I'm Lukas. I play in a band called Griefeater out of Chicago.
I'm Erik. That's really funny because I also play in a band called Griefeater. Um,
Coincidences these days, man.
yeah, it's a small fucking world, dude. Small city, dude.
Hmm.
Yeah,
What's your name again, man? Eric?
My name's Erik. Yeah, I don't think I've seen you around, dude. But
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
I don't know. I heard about this other band called Bosses. I thought that'd be cool. But that's obviously another story for another day. But
True,
yes,
yeah.
we are here with Grief Eater talking about a lot of things. I'm very excited. I put these two through about as extensive a discography as I've ever seen for anybody. Leading up to Grief Eater, we got, Skeletubbies, we got Vinegar Kids, Cardinal Hearts, everything in between leading up to now.
yeah.
Uh, I guess my first question would be, Lukas, I think Erik, you've been there for a couple of these things as well. I don't exactly remember everything. Um, through all those different bands, how has those different sounds kind of informed and evolved into what Grief Eater is now?
Um, I think we've gotten a little closer to like writing songs that we want, like writing the songs that we want to sound like creating the music that we want to sound like. I think like the Skeletubbies was the band that it was like literally the first things I had ever written. So it was kind of like, I know these four chords, so like I'm rolling with it. And now I know like 10 chords, which makes it a lot easier. Um, but yeah, it's just like Grief Eater is just a little more cohesive, I think, because we kind of know what we want to sound like. So it's a little more intentional than a lot of the other bands.
hmm.
You say intentional. I feel like every band you've done so far has kind of chased a different sound. I guess by way of saying that you're saying that was all kind of just what you were just thinking of doing at the time, or this is
Yeah,
like more of
I mean,
like a thing you're chasing now.
yeah, I think it's definitely more of a thing. Um, we come in and we actually, when we're writing a song, we talk about what it sounds like. Whereas the other bands, I would come in or like um, Tommy was a big part in writing for Vinegar Kids. I think honestly, every band past Skeletubbies, I've relied on other people to like write write the music, like be better musicians than me, which is why like, Erik writes most of the songs, I would say, or at least Erik brings in most of the ideas for the songs. But the only thing here is that we all we've gotten to a point where like if Erik brings something in, or it's rare, but when I bring something in, like if it doesn't sound like Griefeater, like we'll know pretty much instantly and we'll be like, uh yeah, let's try something else. Like this isn't working. Where every other band has been like, oh, you have this riff? I guess it's our new song. So let's roll with it. So that's kind of what I mean.
Well, when you're on that with what sounds like Griefeaters, because obviously a big timing for this interview as well, as I believe by the time this is probably released, it'll be a week before your new EP comes out, which
About a week or so,
we've
yeah.
yeah, we've graciously been able to be given a pre-listen to this EP, and there is a bit of sound changes, at least song to song on this EP. So I guess the question I've gotten is what are you defining as the sound of Griefeater? Is it something that you consider just in like the style thematically or something in it? Is there a certain sound? Because there are, I forgot what the title of it is. I believe it's the fourth track on the EP. Is quite a sudden acoustic song, which we didn't get off the first EP
You won't
as
feel a
well.
thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Erik, do you want to address that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those songs, at least like Sienna, which is like the single that's coming out, is like that song was the idea for that song was the first thing I ever even sent Lukas. So like
Oh wow.
when I was moving,
That's
I was living in
right.
Colorado
Yeah.
and I was moving home to Chicago from Colorado, and I like hit Lukas up and I was like, yo, I want to start a band. And I was like, I have this song, or I have this idea for this song. And like the title of the file on my computer was Violent Soho Ripoff. And like,
Fuck you, Dominic.
So
I told you people like Violent Soho.
dude, that band rocks, dude.
Yeah, fucking 4122.
I like some
right
Violent
there.
Soho songs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just so glad.
That
you
song,
found
yeah, it's literally
Covered in
that
Chrome
song.
was great.
Yeah. It's literally like I heard. Well, it was like Covered in Chrome, and then another song, Dope Calypso, that like
Yep.
I really like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like when the idea that I had for this band, was like, I wanted like something super, I write like heavy riffs. Like I grew up listening to like deathcore and like death metal and stuff, and that's just kind of how I learned to play guitar. So like that, and then like discovering sort of like post rock and getting into like black metal and getting into like, you know, shoegaze and like just heavier kind of like heavier like pop rock, you know. That's kind of the idea that I had for the band, you know. But like what's cool is that like, right, like, well, like Lukas brought in the riff for Polar Winter, but like what's weird is that like whenever it like enters the room, it like enters this sort of like mechanism, or like you just kind of throw it into a pot or a cauldron, and like everyone kind of like riffs on it. Like Ethan will start like doing like fucking like Twinkly Noodles, and like then it becomes something else, you know. So I don't know, I mean, and a lot of the songs too like were just riffs that I've had for like a long time, and but like I think what's interesting at this point now is like we've exhausted those
song?
resources kind of.
What's I'm sorry to let you down actually called?
It's so I have like a post rock like side project called Old Water. It's kind of like a black metal post rock kind of thing, but Old Water, like that song is called Arboreal, and like that record, I just was just pulling riffs from like my other like band or whatever, which is hilarious, but like
it's really funny.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. It's a long answer, but I like the idea, and like what actually happens. Like those two things are kind of different, you know. So,
but, so I think I have listened enough to kind of discern different voices. You don't feel thing is an Ethan track, right? Basically, but at least vocally. That's
no,
you.
It's Maxx.
You are incorrect.
It's Maxx.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Because it
Maxx
sounds
literally did everything. Like he is playing guitar on that song and he's singing.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a full Maxx track.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Because it sounds a little bit like the Ethan Sorner project a little bit. So it's like, oh, that's gotta be like an evolution of that. Like, oh no, all right, cool.
No. That's funny.
I actually this actually leads to a question of there hasn't been like a ton of like Bandcamp or any like in the way of like credits, at least listed on your pages and whatnot. I'm curious if that's like an aesthetic choice or if there's just like just haven't had a chance to do it yet.
What do you mean, as in like for this record
like,
specifically?
Like I haven't seen it for the first EP or this one where it's like, oh, this is who's doing what, and here's like the lyrics and stuff.
Yeah, lyrics are just like, you know, in order for lyrics to be there, like you have to type them out. So I just haven't, and like
you've got the punk rock you got the punk rock work ethic.
Well, just yeah, I did add the lyrics for the first EP to, is it like Music Match, or the website that syncs to Spotify? But then
I think so, yeah.
in order to like get it to sync as the song's going, you have to like go through and like click the line as the song is playing. And I was like, that seems like a lot because I have to listen to the whole thing.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. I think we have, if I'm not mistaken, we pretty much have everything on the Bandcamp. If you go to Will You Please, down here it does say, you know, Erik guitar, Maxxim drums, and then we have some additional stuff like producing, all of us, recording, mixing, mastering, Ethan.
That could be just my faulty memory. I apologize if that's the
And
case.
no, you're totally good. And yeah, we have it on the tapes too, on the inside. But I mean, yeah, it's the credits aren't really, I guess, that big a deal. We don't really think about them. Honestly, I think Ethan wrote these out, and then for the second record, I just copy and pasted and just like adjusted whatever needed to be adjusted. So
That's fair. Trix, do you have any questions?
Sure. Do either of you guys have like a dream piece of gear that you've been hunting for?
yeah.
Dude, yeah, for sure, dude. This is fucking broke. Can I swear on here? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't
Well,
care.
Yes,
happen
I'm
anyway.
glad.
Can't stop
I
you now.
wanted to say that because I feel like when you're on a podcast, like you have to swear, and then you have to say, "Wait, can I swear on here?"
Yeah.
We don't make enough to get monetized anyway.
Yeah.
Right on.
Plus, I think it's been the first minute. YouTube can't stop us.
Oh, yeah.
Sick. Nice. Yeah, I've been like, I grew up like listening to the Contortionist, and like they use dual rectifiers. I've wanted a Mesa dual rectifier for like forever.
Oh yeah.
And those things are like Toyotas, dude. Like you can just like use it for like your entire life, you know? So
Yeah, Mesa amps are on another level.
yeah. Yeah, I like, yeah, that's the dual rectifier is like been on my radar for a long time. I don't have the money for it.
I really want a Gibson Ripper. Those guitars,
Oh hell yeah.
like a '60s, like
Dude.
big ass bass. It's like, you know, it's like what Bobby Marcos from
dude.
Cloakroom plays, and it's just
These are
so
sick, man.
massive. They're crazy. They're amazing. Evan Weiss plays one too, and they're there in Pet Symmetry, and they're awesome. They sound so big.
It's always fun asking this question because I somehow stumbled into one of my dream pieces of gear. I have a Rickenbacker 4001.
Nice, dude.
And yeah, so it's always interesting to see what other people are like. In terms of Gibson basses, have you ever played an SP 450 or the 400?
The only bass I have ever played is the bass that Erik has, and then because that is the first time I've literally ever touched a bass.
Fair enough.
Was
I
the
didn't know
first-
that, dude.
The first practice for this band, and then I figured I should probably stop using Erik's bass, so I got my own bass, which is identical to Erik's. I think it's the Fender Jaguar bass.
Yeah.
Solid one.
So I played two bass guitars, but they've both been the exact same one.
That's
Same
kind of
model.
hilarious.
So I'm not very like I don't really explore that much.
Fair
But
enough.
But you have explored other instruments in the past. I'm curious if you would want to bring your expanded repertoire back to Griefeater in any way.
what do you mean?
Like, I remember there's some kazoo action at one point.
Yeah. The kazoo stuff I was just very inspired by Walter Mitty and his Makeshift Orchestra, which is like they're still one of those bands that's like really important to me. But I think it's also like in high school I was getting into like folk punk, and I feel like the kazoo stuff was kind of popping on there, you know? But no, not really. Although I am really good at the kazoo. I actually have a kazoo with a pickup that you can plug into an amp, like run it
What?
through pedals. Yeah.
Dude, why have you never told us about this, dude?
It just never came up.
I'm as pissed as Erik on this one. I mean, that's Kazoo shoegaze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I think there's
Kazoogaze.
something there.
Yeah.
Kazoogaze, dude. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Hilarious.
If God didn't want us to make shoegaze with the kazoo, then why does Kazoogaze sound so cool?
Yeah. That's a good fucking question, dude.
You say like Kazoogaze, you're probably alluding to the fact that we're like a shoegaze band, but just like I guess I'm flipping the script now and taking over. Would you consider us a shoegaze band?
I would personally probably consider you lads to be more closer to the grunge side of things
Okay,
than I would do more than to shoegaze. However, you did mention shoegaze influence prior in this, and I just kind of figured
yeah,
Kazoogaze.
definitely shoegaze influence, but yeah.
It's
I
an
get-
interesting thing. It reminds me of how other projects have been kind of described. Like I remember, I think was it Cardinal Heart was described as like soft punk, I think.
Mhm.
And I always thought that was an interesting description because it's like, yeah, there's shoegaze and Griefeater, but it's like there's like some sad boy prettiness to it too. That's not shoegaze. It's like shoegaze but clean, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
'Cause
Um,
your whole dynamic is your vocals and then the harshness usually, and there's
can
that
see
big
that.
contrast. So it's like shoegaze, at least usually the vocals are so buried and so like the wavelength is similar, where yours always kind of stands out.
for sure. Yeah, I mean,
Plus, like, we write
on-
riffs, you know, like,
yeah,
we're writing, like, actual, like, at least, like, in this new stuff, like, I tried to really, like, push myself riff-wise and, like, try to write, like, some difficult stuff that I could, like, practice and, like, or have to practice or, like, whatever. And, like, that I think just with these new songs, like, all of our, like, musicianship took, like, we're all just, like, we were all thinking about it more, and I think pushing all of our, you know, just our the threshold of our talent or whatever. And I just think like that, like the atmosphere and like the like wall of sound kind of like production project, like that took a backseat, you know, like this stuff was like less about the vibe and more about like, I don't know. Does that make sense? Like more about like writing like cool compositions and like I don't know,
Being
what I
more
mean?
of
And
a
that's like not
musician,
typical.
composer.
It's like not typical for like a shoegaze band. I feel like, so I don't know.
I mean,
It's also
genres are kind
hard
of
to do,
meaningless.
like- it's also hard to do like a big like wall of sound production when like we're doing it ourselves, you know? Like
Yeah,
we work with, you know, if Ethan was here, he could tell you exactly what we use, but you know, we're not really working with that many mics and stuff. Just kind of rolling with what we got. So I think it sounds really good for just like what we were able to do ourselves and what Ethan was able to do afterwards. Like he really
Yeah.
killed it.
I think Ethan's gotten
Sure.
really good at producing and like mixing and all that stuff. I
Yeah.
really like how it sounds.
Yeah, it sounds, you know, because we pretty much did the exact same thing for Will You Please, but this like new stuff, it just sounds so much more full. Even though, I mean, at least to me, the process felt pretty much identical. So I don't, yeah, the fact that he was able to step it up so much in terms of what it sounds like is pretty crazy.
Now, I want to kind of go back to the genre question a little bit here. You were talking about shoegaze. I'm curious if you consider yourselves an emo band at all, like realistically.
Yeah,
So I mean,
I think-
Answered.
yeah. Along with that, are you more like how aware and into like the fifth wave emo scene are you? Like, are you like keeping up with it at
I
all?
feel
or,
like I feel like I'm kind of aging out of it. Like I don't really know who the big bands are. I know you guys are big Origami Angel people.
Yeah, I am.
Which
Dominic had a cute little fluster on his face there. He was going like this, just like, yeah. So adorable. Dominic.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, I feel like I was really into like the emo revival stuff, and I guess at this point I don't know where to draw the line. Because if emo revival was what, fourth wave? Like what was like Algernon and like modern baseball?
Yeah, modern baseball is definitely fourth wave. Algernon's kind of like in that third wave, fourth wave transitional thing.
Yeah. Like early,
I'm not smart
like,
enough to tell
even
you
like
which one of those.
even like early revival versus late revival, like it sounds completely different. So if you want to name some fifth wave emo bands, we'll tell you that we like them because we're nice people. But I but I wouldn't say I'm like extremely tuned into what's going on. What about you, Erik? Are you a emo expert?
No, dude. I like what's funny is that like I don't know, like in high school, like we all ran in different kinds of circles, and we would hang out occasionally, but I was hanging out with like Joe Benda and Mike Saunders, who like we were all listening to like deathcore and stuff. Like I
Gotta
never
have Joe Benda, dude.
Yeah, dude, I hope you're doing well, man, wherever you are.
I
Like
hope you're doing well too, Joe. Don't know who you are, but you sound nice.
sickest drummer of all time.
It's
Yeah.
like I'm in high school with you guys.
This is like a funny bit of, I guess, Griefeater lore, but we all played a show in 2014. Every single member of Griefeater played the same show in my parents' garage, just like in different bands.
Was that the Beach Bunny show?
No. Beach Bunny never made it to one of our Naperville shows. Cardinal Heart played with Beach Bunny once, which is pretty
Okay,
cool.
that's probably what I'm thinking of then.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is when we were still in high school, and Erik was playing in a band called My Last Obsession, and then Ethan was in Cardinal Heart, and then Maxx and I were in Skeletubbies. But like we all played the same night at my parents' house, and it was really cool.
I think I might have been at that show either way. I was at a lot of those
And
shows.
Joe Benda had this like was like a sample.
it's like
It
a
was
bass drop like sample
Yeah,
on a
and you
drum
would like
pad.
hit kind of like a pad, and it would go, and the garage would shake, and the neighborhood was just like every house in the neighborhood just went like, and we're like, I was like, don't do that, like that's too loud. And then like he did it like 10 times during the set.
Shit was
Yeah,
hilarious.
never tell a drummer don't do that. I've learned from my experience.
But all of that is to say that like I didn't really start listening to like emo music or like even like I mean I like even screamo. We were talking last night about screamo and stuff and like scrams and like that's all like new to me. Like all of this like Lukas introduced me to American football like junior year of college or like even senior year of college. And like foxing and stuff, like I'm still like learning, so no, I am not an emo expert. But I think I would consider us an emo band.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
Yeah. We're not on is this band emo though, so there's no way to really tell.
Yeah, no, that is the true way of defining emo.
Yeah.
We got our first intermission soon. I do want to get a couple more questions in, real quick ones before we get to that. Speaking of, like, again, I was huge into what Skeletubbies were doing, all that in the high school era. Like, Lukas, your voice, I think, was like the first time in that scene where I was like, oh, someone can actually like do something and like is good and like has like something that I'm like interested in hearing, right? So if I were to ask you, or like at a future show, if possible, do you think you could still pull off a Sink Floor to Sink cover?
Yeah, I would love to play that song actually. The only reason we did that Sink Floor to Sink cover was because you say that the Skeletubbies was like really cool to you. In high school, the Wumbologists were the coolest band of all time.
Shit.
I think they still might be like the coolest they're the first time I ever heard ska, like before I knew what it was. And they did a Sync Florida Sync cover, and then once they graduated, I felt like I wanted to try and like carry on the torch,
Yes.
and I was like, we have to cover this.
I
So
want to
that's like
do.
that's the reason we did it. And
I
that
want to
song is
cover.
awesome.
I want to cover Wumbologists so bad. I just don't know if any recordings exist.
They may exist in someone's email inbox, but I don't have any. They're everything is taken down. I
Yeah,
know
that's the thing
that.
that sucks. And thank
So
you for
Nick
not taking
Vittori,
down
if you're
all of
listening,
your shit.
put that shit back up.
Yeah, why would you regret making ska? That's the greatest genre of all time.
Yeah.
Wumbologists is like the patient zero for me as well, of like going to garage shows and hearing that stuff. Like, holy shit. Okay. I think
amazing.
Yeah.
So that's the Sync Florida Sync lore. I haven't thought about that song in a long time, but I would love to play it again at some point. Actually, that might be pretty fun.
Cover of Rory was pretty good too.
Yeah, we did that one.
I listened to that concert way more than I probably should. I think it really captures like your stage presence really well and just has a good vibe to it.
Is it on the YouTube?
Yes.
Hell yeah. I was probably the one who uploaded it. Just forgot about it. But very cool.
But I feel like I'm going to continue on with the questions hour and take over from Dominic's little fandom, I guess.
I have more questions, but you go first,
Yeah.
please.
So I've got to go up and to stroke my own ego here. You've mentioned about ripping off from Violent Soho earlier. I've got to ask, is there any other artists specifically from the AU scene that you have been either been inspired from, been listening to a lot recently, ripping, planning to cover any of that stuff?
Like Australian artist?
Yeah. Or it can be any artist, but I'm asking specifically, are you?
No, man.
I don't think so.
I don't know, like who.
Who's Australian? Who we would know?
I mean, if
Soho's Australian.
King Gizzard,
I was gonna say if you kind of had like kind of grunge influence in the sound as well, there could be potential like Silverchair influence.
King Gizzard. I don't know. King Gizzard is a band. They're Australian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, Max.
Okay.
Hey, y'all.
What's up,
Sorry
dude?
I'm late. What's up?
You're fine.
Hello.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it. Max looks like he's the person who introduced Violent Soho.
He looks like he's in Violent Soho, dude.
Yeah, these guys look like vagabonds, straight guerrilla vagabonds. That's me right now. I just woke up too.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining us.
Isn't it almost 11?
Yeah, I'm sleeping in. I'm on vacation.
Yeah,
Fair
sure.
enough.
Very sorry I'm late.
You're all
No,
good.
the only thing you really missed is we were complimenting You Won't Feel a Thing, or at least I was, because I thought that was an Ethan track, but I'm very surprised to find out that it's you. It's very good.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. It was a fun process. Actually, no, it wasn't. I wrote that song because of a really hard breakup. So it actually wasn't a fun process. But very healing. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. Thank you.
But yes, the question of any other Australian acts, such as King Gizzard or Kylie Minogue or Silverchair.
You had to
Dude,
throw in Kylie, didn't you?
I'm like embarrassed to admit, because like I don't know, I'm friends with like a lot of my friends are listening to like a lot of doom and like a lot of like sludge and stuff and like, you know, stoner kind of stuff.
If you're about to admit to liking Kylie Minogue, there was nothing embarrassing in that. I will always say Confide in Me is a fantastic track that
Confide in Me is great.
That influenced psychedelic music in Australia for so long.
I was gonna admit that I haven't listened to a single second of King Gizzard music ever.
That's actually kind of
there's-
impressive, just the breadth of their discography.
There's millions of seconds.
Yeah, the breadth of their discography is the reason that's keeping me from listening. This like, don't they release like 5 records a year? I do
They've only
not
done that
like
twice.
that at all.
That's if you don't include the bootlegs.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just like, I think a band should not be that prolific, you know? Because how much good shit is actually making it in, you know?
Dude, I've heard that all their records are pretty fucking cool, man.
Yeah,
I know,
no,
I've heard that too.
Yeah.
I know that this new record is like pretty amazing. That's what I've heard.
It's thrash metal with a bit of electronic influence in it as well.
That's sick.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Apparently their next album's a techno album.
My buddy said, what did he say? I'm looking at their albums right now. He said
there's a lot.
There was one album that he told me to listen to. Or Nonagon Infinity is the one he was like, this record's like really amazing.
That's a great entry point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me, but for everyone else.
The problem is, because Nonagon Infinity is a loop, by putting it as an entry point, you're not allowed to leave.
Right on. Yeah.
So it's kind of bad
yeah.
Point, but...
Violent Soho's like it's the only Australian band that like I feel like there's one, but like I can't remember now. But anyway.
You'll find out bands.
Hockey Dad's Australian, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I love this man.
Hockey Dad and Violent Soho, you're like right up Callum's alley.
Yeah, no, those are the artists that I didn't have to spend too hard in indoctrinating Trix into Hockey Dad. I think she liked that basically instantly. Dominic up forth. Yeah, Dominic up at the force Hockey Dad down.
Hey,
yeah, I'm Hockey Dad. They're good.
That live concert's pretty good. That weird EP they did on the side, yeah.
I'm so glad that that's one of the live concerts into an album I can say that I was a part of. I will go. You know how usually you go and like say, "Oh, I can recognize that voice." In this one, it's like, "Oh yeah, I recognize that car horn."
Trix, do you have any questions?
Yeah. What is one of like the stranger albums that like you grew up listening or like you consider an influence? Like some Michelle Silverstein's work I consider a fun influence. For me,
I don't know. Max, you want to take this one, man?
I'm sure you have tons, Erik.
I'm going through the Rolodex in my head. Let me think. Weird Al Yankovic.
Fuck yeah, dude. Shouts out.
I can't remember what album specifically, but I feel like that was pretty integral.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to grow up with Weird Al. That's such... If you didn't grow up with Weird Al, I don't think you grew up.
Yeah. Also, speaking of which, I know this is kind of a tangent. This doesn't really answer the question, but
go ahead.
Growing up and going to the library and finding new albums and ripping them from the library onto at the time my family owned a Blueberry, that old Mac desktop. And I would just upload hundreds and hundreds of songs. And I feel like I learned a lot about different bands through that. I learned about Beck. I feel like that was pretty integral with like the acoustic stuff, specifically into songwriting. I remember Steal This Album from System of a Down. That also gave me like a slight panic attack. I think I must have been in 4th or 5th grade when I found that in the library. And I was like, are they really asking me to steal this right now? Like, am I gonna have to am I gonna have to take this out of the library? So anyways, yeah, I feel like ripping albums from the library, getting CDs from the library and renting those out, I feel like showed me a lot about music. I feel like nowadays it's kind of weird, like on Spotify or Apple Music, it's like so saturated. It's hard to find new music. And when I do, it's like based off of the Spotify algorithm. And so you find like 1 or 2 good songs by an artist, and then it's hard to really get in.
But going back to an earlier question that you weren't here for, would you consider yourself a 5th wave emo expert at all?
Absolutely. I have no idea what that is.
Love it. Well, you might not know what it is, but you're a part of it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Whether you like it or not.
Definitive 5th wave emo podcast.
I mean, you were doing the you were doing the Pine Grove Shuffle a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, dude. Then I'm fully in it. Yeah, I just had no idea.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, you said kind of like weird bands. I don't really.
I mean, we all had our dubstep phase.
God, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, so we're
Yeah,
getting a
dude.
dubstep album from you guys.
Dude, that would be sick.
Yeah, do it
Uh,
Muse style, like the second law. I felt the
Oh
disappointment.
wait. I thought you asked, are we gonna write a dubstep album?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's what I
exactly.
asked. Yeah, that's what I asked.
Yeah, hell yeah, I'm fucking down, dude. But yeah, I mean, I guess though through dubstep, like I grew up, my parents like listened to industrial music, so like I grew up listening to like Ministry and like Nine Inch Nails and stuff, but like, and then like through that discovering electronic music, like I don't know, I did listen to a lot of like Dead Mouse and stuff. I listened to this guy named Demon Groove, who was cool. Yeah, I like every like few years I like rediscover electronic music. Dude, I've been listening to this guy named Igloo Ghost, who's like he's like 14. He got signed to Flying Lotus's label.
Yeah, I think I've heard the name. I could not tell you what it sounds like though.
Yeah, I don't listen to a lot of electronic music all the time, but when I rediscover it, it's like, oh my God, dude, like there's this whole other thing going on here, you know, which is cool.
Yeah.
I think I grew up listening to a lot of like classical stuff, actually, because both of my parents are like they went to college for opera singing.
Oh wow.
Like that's how they met. It was like they were both opera singers. My mom was like a pretty successful singer in Lithuania before we moved over here. But I was like, yeah, I guess I was like 4 years old going to see like Verdi operas and stuff. So like that was kind of cool. Verdi is like the most emo of all the composers, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
What about
know?
Tchaikovsky, dude, or like
Yeah.
Shostakovich, dude?
Also, Tchaikovsky's
Just any
also
of the
pretty emo,
Russians.
actually.
Prokofiev.
Yeah,
I don't know
all the
what wave of
all the
emo we
Russians,
call
dude.
that though. That like
What
negative
wave?
10 wave. Yeah, it's like negative 10.
Negative, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like like second wave BC.
Speaking
BE before emo.
yes, before emo.
Oh yeah.
Before
before.
1980-ish. So I was listening back through the records of like all of the past stuff, like Skeletubbies, all that fun stuff. And I was struck by, I don't remember Yeah Song, where you have the full first minute or so that's like in Lithuanian, and it kind of
That's
like
right.
that Spanish influence a little bit too.
Oh my
And
God,
then it
I
kind of
forgot
becomes
about
that
that
like it's like it has a little Spanish in it, and then it becomes kind of like a Climaxer music a little bit too.
Yep. That song we're listening to Streetlight Manifesto, and I just heard Go Go Bordello for the first time. Like that was it. So
See, I think that's an avenue you could definitely explore for Griefeater. Multiple
like kind of like
languages.
the Eastern European tap into that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, I forgot about that song.
Yeah, song, yeah. No, but God, there's so much interesting stuff, honestly. Just like scrolling back through all of that and just seeing what still exists, right? Like I'm glad you haven't deleted it.
Yeah. Well, I remember you said you were like one time we were talking after a show and you were like, you've been taking your stuff down. And I was like, I don't think I have, but then I went back and I have taken some stuff down because my dad learned about like my secret SoundCloud
Oh.
and like not secret SoundCloud and like some of like the I wonder if you listen to this, but some of like especially like the album art, I would just like put like random photos for songs, and like a couple of them there was like me with like my nails painted or like holding a cigarette, and I was like, I don't want my dad to see this, so I took those songs down.
But like
Yeah,
you and
makes
like
sense.
cigarettes and drinking is like one of your major like songwriting things, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah, I guess like for sure, I guess. It's just like it's a very easy thing to write about, but it's a good device, you know. Mac DeMarco uses it too.
I think
You
he's got enough to Siggy's, unfortunately.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
over now.
yeah. I can show you actually. It's
Well, I
really
mean, fortunately
exciting.
for him, but yeah.
You know, one time you had a
Uh,
shitty week and then it just spiraled out from there.
yeah. See, 183 days. So
Hmm.
that's
Damn,
pretty good for
nice.
me.
Nice.
Pretty good job.
I have smoked 2 cigarettes during this recording.
Let's go.
Everyone's in different parts of their lives.
Yeah.
So to go into an earlier response in which you were talking about how bands that are a little bit too prolific and stuff seems a bit I guess sus out is how you described it. I'm gonna kind of put all of you on the spot on this. I know we've got the EP that's coming out, and I know we've had the EP last year as well, which makes it 2 EPs in the 2 years. What are the current plans for past this? Is there potentially albums being thought about, songs being written? Is it just more EPs until more traction?
Eric, you have a plan.
Yeah, I mean, like Max and I met at a bar and like kind of conspired and like gassed each other up to like I want to write something really comprehensive, you know, like I want to write a full record. And like I was saying earlier, what was cool about the place that we're at now is that like we've exhausted all of the like reservoir of material, or at least I have. Like I've used all the stuff that I had like written, you know.
Can we make a
And-
nothing left joke here?
Yeah, nothing left, dude. That's what the song's about. We like ran out of stuff to write. But yeah, I mean, like we're at a kind of ground zero. Like I think this EP is like a B-side to like the first one. It was just like an
Oh, really?
extenuation of the it's like an extenuation of the same project. And then now I think we have a chance to like kind of not reinvent, but like rediscover or like reimagine the band, you know? And so like I just write riffs, man. But like I mean it'll turn into something like kind of cool, I think. So I mean that's my plan. None of us are like I don't think any of us are like on the same trajectory yet, because like we're still riding the wave of like this EP coming out and like playing a summer full of shows and stuff. And but that's the idea that I have, and I know Max and I kind of share a similar vision. But I don't know how
Yeah,
it's gonna
let's plug.
pan out.
Yeah, you mentioned summer full of shows. Let's like, because I'm gonna forget to do this, but I think we should probably do it. Let's plug the release show, which I think by the
Yeah.
time this comes out,
It will be
will
before it, so yeah.
will be announced. It's gonna be August 4th at
Ooh.
the Cobra Lounge. And yeah, we're looking for one more band as of right now, but we're playing with Close Kept, which is, you know, like one of our favorite Chicago bands, and Excrucis. We're playing with them as well, so it's gonna be a really, really good show. So that's August 4th at the Cobra Lounge. So you don't need to go to Lala, just come to the Cobra Lounge.
That does speak to something though. I follow a lot of different Chicago music acts, like obviously Griefeater, but like other ones, like none of y'all seem to travel in the same circles, and it's surprising because it's like there's so many times where I'm like, oh, you're both at Bottom Lounge like 5 days apart. Whereas like, oh, do I want to see?
Who are
Was it?
you, like, what are some of the bands that you follow?
So like, there's Kalimasi, there's Weekend Run Club, Okay Cool. Those
Yeah,
are the few
yeah.
of the big ones.
Mhm.
So it's like my dream at some point to kind of conspire to get all of you to do a show together.
Dominic
Yeah.
Festival.
Yeah.
Kalimasi is
Dominic Fest, dude.
is
Let's
another
go.
Naperville North band, right?
Yes. That was the first,
Yeah.
like, one of the first one to make it out, at least from my era, I feel like.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
Wumbologists kind of just went away, and then Kalimasi was there.
Yeah. I mean, so was but fuck it, so.
Oh.
But we
Yeah.
don't have to get into that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can also cut that if you want.
I've learned about somebody and I've learned nothing. It's like high school over. I really am in high school with you lads.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what you get when like 4 of us have gone to the same high school, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird Naperville shit.
But yeah, but in terms of like those bands, it's really booking shows is hard, and like finding bands to play with, and we've kind of just like developed a little like circle of people that we really enjoy playing with. Like we love playing with new bands all the time, but especially for like something like the release show, it's like, you know, we want to play with like our friends. And not to say that like those other bands aren't our friends, we just like haven't
Just
met
haven't
them
done
yet.
it.
But
Right.
but I would love to play with Okay Cool is amazing. And you know, like those other bands like Snow Ellet is another, and we've played with them. Snow took our photos, which is really cool. But
Olden Days Garden Path.
yes, well, Excrucis is 2/3 of my Olden Days Garden Pass.
Okay.
So, yeah, we love them. They're the sweetest people, and they're such shredders. It is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, like the fun thing too is like there's always like connections, right? Like, you know, my Olden Days Garden Path and Excrucis are kind of, you know, connected. You're in Bosses, right? Like there's always like things that are just there.
Mhm.
Where it's like that's part of the fun of doing this show is just like connecting all the dots and having that conspiracy board of like, all right, these people connect with these people, and then these people work with these people, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
Trixie, you have a question?
I do not at the moment.
That's fair.
I'll put it onto a question since we're kind of already talking in the same vein as well. And it's a question for each one of you to kind of answer a bit more individually. If there's any place you can put out as hypothetical as you want, you don't have to be realistic, but if you want to be realistic, go ahead. Is there any place that you would consider to be a dream to perform a gig at, whether that be just a location, geographical wise, it would be an actual venue, it would be even a festival or anything like that?
Yeah, dude. I mean, Lincoln Hall is like pretty coveted. Like, I don't know. There's a few spots in Chicago that we haven't played that like I would love to play. You know, like we haven't played Bottom Lounge yet. House of Blues would be crazy.
Salt Shed, or it's popping.
Salt Shed would be crazy.
I
man.
would want to play
I mean-
Talia Hall.
Bro,
That's-
oh my god. Dude, what if we played the Aragon, dude? That shit would be crazy.
I haven't been to the Aragon, but
Dude, it's
that's like
wild.
that's a big space to fill.
Yeah.
Was this what up the Congress again?
Congress would be sick. Yeah, we could play the Congress and like to all the people who like squat there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Festival would be sick though too. I mean, like playing a festival, like I don't know who played like what festival would like nothing play, like Pitchfork or something, or like Riot Fest would be sick. I wouldn't
What's
want to
that-
play Lala, dude.
There was that one festival that was like a month ago, I feel like. It was like some kind of street name or something like that.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was
remember.
Do Division. I would play like
Yes.
I would play like Do Division or Wicker Park Fest. Like
That'd be
the
fun.
street festivals are so fun. I would love to play
Yeah.
street festivals. Not really like a festival person, so I don't know if I would really
Same.
care for playing like I would play Pitchfork.
Yeah, that shit would be crazy, dude.
I just like going to shows. Going the festival scene is a lot usually to deal with.
Yeah, I agree.
Max, do you have a answer to this question?
Oh yeah. I was thinking about, well, I was connecting. So we saw Cloakroom at Do Division, and they recorded that album in a cave. I feel like it'd be pretty sick to play it at a venue that's just like not even a venue. Somehow we just like got a way to get a power generator over. Yeah, in some cave up in the I don't know, in Wisconsin or something, or Michigan. Yeah.
Always revive the garage shows.
Yeah, that was another thought, right? Yeah, bring back. I think Lukas, your parents are still in the same. No, yeah,
Yeah,
same
we
house that
talked we
had our
talked about
show at.
this. We talked about this show before you hopped
Okay,
on.
right
Like,
on.
every member of Griefeater played, like individual,
Yeah.
like in different bands.
Yeah, we could bring back the garage shows. That's where I feel
Yeah.
most at home, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, or like playing at the bunker.
Yeah, it's like the smaller the venue, the better. Like if I can see everyone's head, it's perfect.
Yep.
We get the Wumbologists back together. Get them to do one show.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Dude.
right. That'd be cool.
I've tried to find Nick Vittoria for a while. Have not had a chance to connect again.
At risk of interrupting you here, Dominic, we've only got a certain amount of time
Oh, I know.
left in this. So I reckon probably the best way to end it, which is a similar way we've ended a couple here, is we kind of just all ask a bunch of quick fire questions. Just if everyone can just probably answer as in a quick fire question, even if it's a yes or no.
That sounds fun.
Go ahead. I'll start it off with, if you could cover any song. Doesn't have to be one that you've already done, just any song. What song would you cover?
What did I send in the chat that we should cover recently?
Oh, I dreamed a dream.
Oh yeah, like yeah, dude. Covered. Yeah, I dreamed a dream from Les Mis.
That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I would want to cover, you know that song from Freaky Friday that's like, you're it, you're the ultimate, automatic, I'm sure of it. That song.
Oh yeah,
I don't know that song.
Freaky Friday.
I bought the Freaky Friday soundtrack from a Goodwill once. That's the first song on it, and it goes so hard.
Let's say you could do a show right now with anybody at all. You just do it all by tonight. Who would you pick?
Nothing.
Cloakroom.
Yeah, I would probably concur. Cloakroom
Either
or
of those two
nothing.
bands.
Yeah.
Hell
Greet
yeah.
Death.
Yeah,
that
true.
would be cool too.
Or is it gonna go bigger? Like, oh yeah, we totally do Soundgarden or something like that.
I wouldn't play with Soundgarden, man. I saw them before Chris Cornell died, and they were like not good. Admittedly. They're just like too old, man.
Yeah.
I'd play a show with like
It's the
Slipknot or
alternative.
something, or like Slayer.
That's fair.
Yeah. If you guys could have any band cover one of your songs, what band would you want to do that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Probably
Swift.
nothing. Or Cloaker. Taylor Swift, bro. Hell yeah.
Yeah, if you could cover You Won't Feel a Thing. Oh my god.
That'd be great.
I can't wait for that on the Eras tour.
Yeah,
Confuse,
it's coming.
confuse the shit out of everyone.
What is
What fucking song is this, dude?
Yeah, David Bazan is the first thing that comes to my mind. Like, I would love like a Pedro the Lion cover of something.
Gotcha.
You do that Petite League cover of the Party by Vinegar Kids. I did send you that once, but that fucking Facebook message pissed me off. I wanted to send the file, not the audio.
Oh, I admittedly was never able to listen to it.
Yeah, I'll send the file.
It never came through.
Oh, that sucks. All right.
Yeah.
But it's cool that someone has covered something. Like, that's pretty crazy.
Next quick fire question. Any favorite game or movie or anything that you're either playing the shit out of or watching the shit out of at the moment?
I'm playing Diablo right now. So
Yeah, I feel
I think
for
like
you.
everyone in their fucking brother is playing Diablo 4 right now.
Yeah, and I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom on my Switch right now, which, you know, equally as big of a hype train. And I feel like
Uh, sorry, someone, it may have been me, but it was frozen a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm an adult, so I don't play games.
Fuck you, bro.
You killed Tricks with that one.
But yeah, I don't really play video games.
So any
But I like
movies or anything
I
that
like
you're
movies. I liked last year um I did like a Nicolas Cage movie marathon, and that
Hell
was
yeah.
pretty cool. I really like Bringing Out the Dead. Bringing Out the Dead
Oh,
is like the
dude.
movie that Taxi Driver like should have been, you know?
Mhm.
That's a crazy
Interesting
thing to say,
take.
dude.
Interesting take. All right.
That movie is amazing though.
Yeah.
That's
I
like one of
think
the
we've really
wildest performances I've ever seen, dude.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
I think we've really only got the time for the one last quickfire question, which is Trix's question before we all plug. So it's a good thing that Max is can come in. So Trix, you want to ask your last question?
Yes. What is your ideal sandwich?
Drinking all.
Turkey, dude. Like sourdough, turkey, arugula, mustard, beef steak, tomatoes, and like pickles. Like you can't beat it, dude. Yeah, you can't beat it.
I just saw a TikTok of Gordon Ramsay making like the steak sandwich. It was really good. I would love to try that. Not really like much of like a sandwich guy. This is crazy. It's making me sound like I'm not into anything.
You're into PBR and making music.
Oh, Lukas left, dude.
right.
Hilarious.
He really got upset about that.
He's like, "Fuck you guys, dude."
Fuck your sandwiches.
Yeah, my connection's super unstable. I don't even know if I'm in this chat right now.
You are in.
You
You
are.
are in this chat. What is
Oh,
your
wow.
favorite sandwich?
Okay. You know, I'm gonna go with the Italian nightclub from Jimmy John's.
Nice, dude.
Super basic, but I freaking extra mayo on there. So good.
Can't go wrong.
There's
It's
Lukas.
consistent. It's consistent.
Sorry, I dropped off my work computer. I was on my work computer and it had to like restart for updates because
Oh,
it's
fun.
Saturday and I guess that's when they do that.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, we only have a very small amount of time left in this, so if there's anything you want to plug, shows, EPs, I know we've already talked about it, but please plug.
You haven't
them
even
out.
said the name of the EP yet.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, the EP is called For Once Then Something. I would plug our show at Cobra Lounge on August 4th. Excrucis just released an absolutely incredible record. Close Kept is one of the best bands in Chicago, and they're so underrated, and I wish the world could just hear them. Who else we got? I mean, there's just so many wonderful bands. My Olden Days Garden Path.
We're playing a
there's
show. Oh, I guess this won't come out by the time we play this show, so never mind.
You still say it.
Oh, so that EP's July 28th, I believe. We just forgot to mention
Yep.
that as well.
Yep, that's coming out July 28th.
Sienna's a single. Dust is a single.
Yep.
That is correct. Yeah,
Glad to hear
Just-
Sienna make it out.
yeah, just listen to Chicago bands. Chicago has some incredible music. Old Coke is another band that is amazing. Sleepwalk, everyone's killing it.
Fair enough. Listen
Frozen.
to all those bands. Listen to Chicago.
Yes,
right.
listen to Chicago.
Try the
Alright,
band.
so-
Yep.
It's gonna end any second now. So But thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you all for being here. Griefeater, Maxx, Lukas, Erik.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you
for
guys.
having us on. This was
Fantastic.
super fun.
Thank you.
All right, we seem to be back.
Cool, yeah.
Hey, refresh. Let's go again.
Oh, Maxx is coming in too. My bad.
Hell yeah.
Shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
I'm coming in.
Don't come. I'm gonna tell him that. Do not come.
I don't know what your dynamic is. I wasn't expecting it to be that.
Is that the big Red Bull Domino, the big 16, 20 ouncer?
I've had this in my bag for like, it's a 12 ouncer. I've had it in my bag for like 5 days, I think. It's time.
Been there. Well, actually, usually they don't last that long.
They just disintegrate. They like melt if you don't.
Well,
bring them
if I'm
into-
buying one, I'm drinking it.
They self-destruct.
Yeah. I'm addicted to. I'm on that 3 Celsius a day grind set.
Right
Wow.
on, dude.
Wow, that's crazy.
Usually I'm like, oh, I've had a coffee. I can't have a Red Bull now. But it's early enough.
this conversation is way too American for me.
Dude,
Yeah.
look at this. The fucking Dunkin' Donuts
Hey,
right
yo,
here.
dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that
Yo!
later
Shouts out.
probably.
Water.
Dunkin'.
No,
Water.
Ah, fuck it. I need a
the
I need a
large
mint hot
Dunkin',
chocolate one
dude.
these days.
Dude, everyone's always like, I don't know. I don't think you're in Europe, right?
No, I'm Australian.
Okay. But everyone's always like, because I was in Europe like a month ago, and everyone's like, oh, like European coffee is so good. It's like, yeah, it's good, but you only get like 2 sips of it. Like, give me the fucking like 32-ounce, like
Yeah.
iced coffee. Like, I want to be drinking this for 3 hours.
So
like,
I don't consider the iced coffee stuff to be actual coffee. I just assume it to be a large
we go.
amount of a caffeine fix. If you want a large caffeine fix, that's fine. I see no problems in going for the iced coffee. It's that our stereotypes. It's not just European stereotypes, because Australia has the absolute great boast that we can do, in which Starbucks failed here on its first go, because they
Fuck
tried.
yeah.
They tried to bring in the American style coffee, which is, the old classic diner one, which is just a black coffee stew roasted for like 24 hours. We fucking hate that shit, because our coffee culture is brought over from the Europeans during the gold rush time, and mostly also the Chinese, because the Chinese specifically love their coffee as well. It's people don't quite realize just how much of coffee drinkers they are. And they dominated the gold rush here, so that's why we got a lot of their cultures. And because of that, we kind of built up from their coffee culture, because that's where a lot of our ancestors have come from. A lot of people go like, "Oh, you're just a bunch of criminals" and stuff like that, and that is true. But actually, the majority of us come from the gold rush, because it was just huge here. Because of that, we never got that black style coffee integrated into us, nor did Americans really come here for tourism. So we got this whole fucking culture of that proper barista coffee into us.
That's rad.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, that's
Yep.
super sick.
Yeah, so fuck you, Starbucks. It did come back, unfortunately, but at least they learned that they had to actually make a fucking coffee. It's still not good, but at least it's better than it was.
I hate Starbucks, dude. I hate that shit.
No, they're trash.
I think we're
I'll
all
drink
Starbucks
anything.
haters.
I will drink Starbucks. I'll drink a fucking Dunkin'. I'll drink pizza if I have to. Pizza I
Yo,
have more of a
dude.
problem with than anything.
Drinking pizza is more delicious than Starbucks.
Pizza, not pizza. God no.
Whatever happened to the Caribou on Ogden?
Pizza
got bought by
bought
Pizza.
Caribou. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I like
I
that.
don't know.
I like Caribou coffee was fucking good, dude. Shit was really good.
Yes.
That's a Minnesota thing, I think.
Oh, really?
I think they're still in like Mall of America, maybe. At least there was when I was there a few years ago.
Hell yeah. All right, I don't know
Um,
what Maxx is doing, so
We'll just continue on. He joins
yeah,
when
we
he
don't
goes.
really want to
Yeah.
waste your time, so
No,